Hello, everybody out there. Welcome to Tuesday night. This is another episode of In Bed with Comics. I'm your host and fellow comedian, Kristen Tinsley. So, keeping with tradition, once upon a time, there was a really total badass, that took the stage. She's opened for comedy greats as Joy Behar, Ray Romano. One of her songs was nominated for a Grammy that Danny Aiello recorded, and she has performed in theaters throughout the United States and Canada. She is the producer and headline of the hilarious comedy troupe, The Italian Chicks. Everyone, please welcome tonight for me. Give a big round of applause for, and I don't want to mess up her last name, otherwise she'll freaking shoot me. You have to unmute yourself. Maryann Maisano, everybody. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Woo, whoop, whoop. Thank you so much, baby girl.
Yes.
Thank you. I appreciate that. You did a good job.
Thank
You
you.
didn't fuck up my name. You get to live. You don't have to hire somebody to start your car. Okay?
Thank God. You know what? I'm not even worried. I'm not even gonna stress about that. I'm not even gonna worry about that. I'll walk from now on. I'm gonna walk from now on. Shout out to Teresa Fowler. Teresa's watching.
Teresa, what's up, girl? Hey, listen, thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it. It's very sweet.
Thank you for coming on. I was waiting. I felt like some sort of like high school boy trying to ask out a girl on a date, like trying to figure out like, oh, like how do I approach these people? How do I, these people that have done such great things with their careers and have really been very successful, how do I, this comic in my bedroom in Huntington, ask? And Teresa said, just ask. All they can do is say no.
No.
Why
That's
not?
right. She's right. That's it. You always just ask because you never know. You just never know.
You never know.
But I thought, are we having sex? I thought we were having sex.
We could. I mean, I definitely think that we could definitely work on that. I think.
Okay. I wasn't sure because I got dressed for it and everything, and I called my niece before we got on live, and my niece and I are very tight, and she's a gorgeous girl. And I got on and I go, well, how do I look? And she goes, you look like a fucking slut. Where are you going tonight?
Oh, definitely. I mean, you're wearing black, so you had me at black.
Hey, you know what I'm saying?
Listen, I've always I'm thinking about it. Every time I go on Plenty of Fish, I'm getting more and more profiles from girls. I think this is good. Either they're fed up or I'm starting to look like a man. I don't know which one's coming.
No, let me tell you, when I'm online, I get emails from women that look like my Uncle Tony.
Oh my God.
And that is like not a good thing, okay?
You like more of like the lipstick.
Well, I like a woman to look like a woman.
Yeah.
I think it makes sense, Otherwise, who needs this shit? I might as well bang a guy.
I'm not a man. Right. Sarah Paulson has always been like, if I ever had to choose, it would be her. It would definitely be her.
Yeah, I love her. I do love her too.
Yeah.
I do. I like her. I like Jessica Lange.
Yeah, definitely, without a doubt.
Yeah, that little bombshell kind of thing going on,
Jessica Lange she is absolutely unbelievable.
Isn't she amazing?
She's the only reason why I watched any of the American Horror Story shows at all, ever.
Right.
And when she's not in it, the show, Sarah Paulson takes over, and that's what makes it really, really good.
You're right.
Her performance in Freak Show should have really have gotten her nominated.
Oh my God.
Unbelievable.
But she's a brilliant actress. Now, I happen to be an old black and white movie freak.
Oh,
so
really?
Yeah. I love all the classics. So and I always say to my actor friends, like when they go like, oh, this, and I go, you've never seen a Tennessee Williams movie or play? And you're an actor? You want to be an actor? Like, come on, man. But she did. If you ever get the chance to look up or rent, it's called Frances. And she portrayed the life of Frances Farmer. And
I've seen it.
Isn't it amazing?
I'm an English major. Yeah, I'm an
there you
English major.
Bravo, baby.
Yeah, Tennessee Williams didn't he write The Glass Menagerie?
Yeah.
He did.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to read all kinds of old, like Young Goodman Brown. I could read Old English, New English, Shakespeare.
Good.
Chaucer, Milton, all of that stuff. Yeah, I went to Hunter College. I was an English major.
I'm impressed. I'm very impressed.
Yeah,
very
it
cool.
didn't get me anywhere in life. I'm still driving a school bus, but when the kids have a question about Shakespeare,
Yeah,
bus driver.
But at least you could talk the talk, if you know what I'm saying.
Absolutely,
right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, I've kind of steered away from literature in a way because it's very snooty and it's very academic, and it's just. I was gonna go back and get my master's degree in for creative writing, but then I decided, I'm like, what am I gonna do with that? They don't pay adjunct professors anything.
No, they don't.
And I'm gonna be spending the rest of my life, doing what? Even if I were to be an English teacher, I'm gonna be teaching the kids Shakespeare. It's boring. If you're gonna let me teach, Stephen King, or you're gonna let me teach, what's that, Anne Rice, then we can talk.
Yeah, exactly.
I love Anne Rice. I absolutely love her.
Oh, me too. Me too. Yeah. Me too.
Have you ever read the Sleeping Beauty Chronicles?
No, I haven't.
Oh, after this, send me your address. I'm gonna give you a gift. Oh, that is a gift. Anne Rice, actually, I forget the name of the pseudonym that the pen name that she used to write that book. The Sleeping Beauty Chronicles is probably one of the most intimate and very erotic.
I was just going to say, my niece is an Anne Rice freak, and this is sounding very familiar to me.
She's probably read it. And then there was another book that she wrote called A Cry to Heaven. And even though it's about, the Catholic Church and all the craziness, the way she wrote it was absolutely beautiful. And it sucks that she's only known for Interview with the Vampire, because she's so much more than that.
Right, so,
totally. Yeah, Interview with the Vampire. I've never even read it. I won't read it. I'll watch the movie and that's it. But I just love.
Exactly.
Yeah, I love Honeston. I love all those writers, all those black and white movies. Cool. I was a film major too, so yeah.
Very cool. I love it.
Yeah, very cool. Now for you, speaking of stages, how did you get on the stage? How did this all begin? This comedy, music, what's up, girl?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I have to say I was born this way, just like with everything else in me. Okay. But, I really believe it's like my purpose. And a lot of people try to figure out what their purpose is in life. And I knew what I wanted to be when I was 5 years old. And then, as life moved forward, I wound up winning a guitar down the shore when I was 12, taught myself how to play, had high school bands. And, it was just me, and I loved performing. And then when I was performing and I was singing, and I was always the girl in the rock and roll band who played guitar. Yeah, I always liked to banter because I got bored singing the same songs every other night. So that banter was just very spontaneous and very improvisational in the moment, and that's where the comedy kind of started from there.
Right.
And after a while, I mean, I never really did a full-on comedy show without doing music in it, because the music that I do one real legit song, but then most of the music that I do in these shows, the comedy shows, are really song parodies that are very twisted and dirty and fun and all that jazz, but the music to me, I think, is my passion, playing guitar and singing. And I think the comedy is just human nature for me. It's just the way I am.
Right. I understand that. Yeah, definitely. So what kind of guitar do you play?
Oh my God, I play electric, I play acoustic. I've had a million guitars, from Rickenbackers to Gibson Les Pauls. And right now I have a Takamine, which I'm in love with, and it's an electric acoustic. So I love that. I mean, I could sit here all day, and I have the studio in my house. I go right into GarageBand or Pro Logic, put headphones on, work on a song, and all of a sudden I'll start at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I'll look up, it's dark in my apartment, the song is done, and it's like 7 o'clock at night. And I'm like, wow.
Right. You're a go-getter. Because we've had conversations before, and when you told me, you have to practice every day, you got to love it. So that's your approach to this. Because when I ask people, what is your approach to the comedy game? It doesn't have to be comedy. So your approach is, you just got to get in there. You got to do it. You got to love it.
You got to love it, and you got to work at it every day. You really
every day. Yeah.
Every day. And it's, it's just, if you love what you do, it doesn't feel like work.
Right.
And that, that's the cool trick about this, but it's just doing it every day and being committed to something and believing. If you don't believe that this is what you are supposed to be doing, it never happens.
Right.
And I do believe that. And this is where I've always felt most comfortable in my life.
I've always felt more comfortable being a writer because I made the decision to be a writer at 5 years old. I didn't know how to write yet, but I was determined to. I was the first person in my class that was able to write script. I was the first person in my class that was able to write with pen. I wanted to be a writer, but yet I find it's one of the hardest things to do because sometimes when you're really good at something, you're just kind of like, oh, huh. But then as you get older, it fades over time. If you don't keep working, it's like a muscle.
Yeah, it is a muscle. And it's so funny you said that because today, a complete stranger, someone I've never met on TikTok, who follows me, she wrote something about whatever video I put up, and I said, "Oh my God, thank you so much." And she said, "What do you do?" So I told her, and then I said to her, "What do you do?" And she said, "I'm a comedy writer," and she had writer's block. And I was like, "Oh my God, I'm so impressed."
Person to run into. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I said to her, "Well, I said, here's my advice to you. I recommend that you put on some meditative music and that you burn some sage, lose some of the energy. And I recommend you read something that you love.
Yeah.
And while you're reading something you love, it's going to just let everything go. And you're going to be able to pick up a pen and start writing." And she was like, "Oh my God, you're absolutely right." And it's true.
I didn't know you could actually talk to people on TikTok. I'm still like nervous about
text messaging.
Text messaging, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when did you start in the entertainment industry?
Oh my God. I mean, I started a long time ago. I mean, I was doing Dangerfields and Catch with, guys like Johnny Rizzo, and it was back in the day. And then from the comedy, I realized I wanted to do more than just comedy because I'm more than just comedy, And I love writing passionate love songs and singing them and acting them out, because that's acting as well. When you sing a song and it's a ballad, you act out those lyrics.
Yeah.
And you feel them.
Absolutely.
So for me, I got in banking then because my very Italian father hated the fact that I was always in a van with a bunch of guys, going somewhere, and so I'd be like, "Maryann, you better get a real job and the benefits." And so I felt challenged.
All in one sentence.
Yeah, all in one sentence. And I thought, I heard he said to me, "You can't do shit." But in theory, I think he just didn't understand my life and what it was all about. And so I marched into a bank, and I became accidentally successful, and I was VP of sales for the longest time. And this career went to the wayside because after a while, I mean, I did a show here and there, but as aggressive as my position got and the more money I made, and just to remind you, the love of money indeed is the root of all evil. Okay.
Absolutely.
I just, I was exhausted. It was all about boardrooms and politics. And then one day, giving a motivational seminar in 2006, I was talking about finding your passions. And that's when it hit me that I wasn't following mine. Yeah. So in 2006, in June, I walked into the chairman and CEO's office, and I thanked him. And I said, "I can't do this anymore." And I left. And that's when I decided that there were 3 things I needed to do. The first thing was to write a CD of music, because I hadn't written a song in 10 years. Okay. And then it poured out of me. I wrote this CD in less than 2 months.
Wow.
Because it was like, I couldn't believe it. I was writing sometimes 2 songs a week. It was sick.
Fire, Jesus.
Yeah. And then after that, I wanted to put together an all-female comedy and variety show that supported the cultures and traditions of the Italian American people.
Yes.
Now, mind you, you don't have to be Italian to see the show. You just have to have a dysfunctional family.
I actually have the flyer up there. Let me see if I don't know if I can share my screen. Hold on a second.
Okay.
Oh, there it is. There it is. The Italian chicks right there.
Yeah. We're going to be doing a virtual show in conjunction with, remember the Metropolitan Room in New York City, and this is Metropolitan Zoom.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a cool thing because, this guy is very precise, which I love because I'm a perfectionist. And, he's used to doing, 6-piece, 12-piece bands, and the audio has to be perfect. So there won't be any clipping and there won't be this and that. And we'll actually be able to see everybody's faces. And so I think it's going to be an interesting experiment because I will tell you that I'm not a big fan of virtual shows.
Wait, how is he going to structure the show?
I'm sorry?
How is he going to structure it?
He's structuring, I'm saying he's used to dealing with 12-piece bands, 6-piece bands.
Right.
So everything has to be perfect. So our audio is going to be spot on.
Okay.
We're dealing with specific mixers and this and that and layouts that, I was kind of happy about, even though it was annoying, but I'm happy because I know that everything is going to be perfect. It's not going to be like clipping. You're not going to go like, what? And it's so,
right. That's what, yeah.
Yeah, as long as we don't lose electricity, we're all good. Okay.
Are you girls going to be all in one location?
No, we're not. We're all going to be in different locations.
So you guys are logging into his Zoom meeting to do it?
To his portal, yeah.
And I'm thinking about doing that for my show on Saturday. This way, there's somebody else that's controlling it.
Yeah. But the good thing, on your shows, there's no music, there's no nothing, right?
No.
Okay. So my show makes it a bit of a bear because if you ever tried singing on Zoom, it's horrible and it clips and you can't hear. And so, this was a very important step in trying to bring the show out there because of that. Because I did see a comedy show and I felt bad. They had a guy who was really good. He was a guitar player and he was singing badass songs that were like loud, like Journey, Don't Stop Believing, right? And every time this kid hit a high note, the whole thing went out or the guitar skipped out. And I was like, oh, geez, so if you're going to do something like that, just take the time to do it right. Or just say, it disservices the musician who's really trying to do it for you.
Yeah. Or I mean, even just because I like to incorporate drag queens into comedy. I love it. I'm a big fan of combining different talents and having a show. I feel as if the audience should be entertained from the minute they walk in that door to the minute they leave. Because if they feel good and they're smiling and they're laughing and they're having fun and they're excited, they're going to want to come back. So I like to have drag queens and I like to have, eventually musicians. I would love to have burlesque dancers, all of that. Just divide that up. I just have to. I'm doing a disservice to the public if I don't. Because
you're totally right. I agree with you. I think you should. And speaking of drag queens, I mean, back in the day, I actually did a show with drag queens. And I was like their Bette Midler because I was the only real person that could sing. Okay. Right. So I remember one night at this club, I was hosting and emceeing, and I was bringing out a dear friend of mine, and his name is Tony Mona, and he's like 6'2", and he did the most, and he's such a beautiful face. He did the most incredible Cher and the most incredible Winona Judd. However, Tony started gaining weight very rapidly. So remember when Cher had that outfit on with all the fishnets and the... yeah. Well, when Tony gained all this weight and he's backstage trying to stuff his shit, every bit of shit, into this, and he gained so much weight. So I go out and he just looked horrible. I was like, I just fucking do Winona, will you? Right? No. So I'm outside, I introduce and I go, ladies and gentlemen, it's Cher, the sofa, and the love seat. Oh my God. And he came out and he goes, bitch.
Oh my God.
But it was great because it was so true. I mean, you had to laugh at that. But I love drag queens because they're so meticulous. And it's the same thing like with me with shows. I always say to everybody, if you're going to be in the show, you need to dress up when you come out on stage. Yes. Because if people are spending money to see you, I think you deserve to fucking look good. Like my mother would say, fix your hair, brush your teeth, and wash your face. Can you please?
Look good. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Look good. You want to know that you're respecting it. So was there a moment in comedy or in music where you felt like, I've got something here, I know I'm good, I'm not giving up? We have a special guest coming to the show in 2 seconds. Get out of here. Don't knock anything over. I have a cat.
Oh, okay.
We talked about him before. Yeah, he likes to
Right.
comment.
Right. So was there something that I'm sorry, you were saying, was there something that I
Was there a moment in comedy or music where you were playing or you were on stage and you just really just connected with the audience and you just knew like I got something here and I'm not gonna stop?
Yes. When I was open for Ray Romano and I wound up getting a standing ovation at the end of my set. And when I walked backstage, he threw his arms around me and he goes, "That was fucking awesome." And I'm sorry?
I can't even imagine Ray Romano.
It was so cool. And that's when I said to myself, wow. And I never forget, I was driving home with a friend of mine who was also on the show, who I was dating at the time. Never do that. Never do that, I'm telling you. And she was a bit of a, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
she was already out there in her little la la land, and I'm driving. She's not saying a word. And now I'm busting because I just got a standing ovation, and it was great. So I was like, inside, I was driving like this, but inside I was like this. You know what I mean? So all of a sudden she goes, "You know why you got a standing ovation?" And I go, "No, why?" "Because you curse." And I go, "That's great. I'll fucking do that all the time then, okay?"
That's what she said?
She said,
"Jealous hating bitch."
yes. I'm like, Jesus Christ, steal my fucking thunder. Why don't you, bitch? Right?
Jealous hating bitch. I would have pulled over on the side of the road and been like, "Get out." No.
I know, right?
No.
It was Long Island. If it was Jersey and it was close, I would have done it, but I didn't want to leave her stranded. But I did let her go then.
Yeah, I would have been like on the ceiling, like very proud. Like that's one thing. Like I asked another comic last week because he has a girlfriend that he lives with, and he's a comedy producer.
Right.
And I said, and he's like, you just can't make it. You can't be jealous of each other. You can't be, you can still have a relationship with somebody, but you can't be jealous. Like each of you, if one of you makes it, you both kind of make it, but you can't be jealous, and you can't let that business aspect of it get in the way.
No, you can't. And the one thing about me is that I will be somebody's biggest fan. I mean, if I like your stuff and I love what you do, and there's something about you that's magical, whatever, I am your biggest fan. I'm not jealous.
Right.
I wish success to everyone. And I mean, like, even with my show, it's like, I mean, I made a big change last year, and I just revamped the entire show. And I did it for many reasons. And one of the reasons was that I thought it was important to kind of like re-energize everything and kind of bring in a whole new group of people and get on board more Italian chicks than I need, so that this way, every time you come to see a show, you're going to see a new show because we're going to have a rotating cast.
Right. That's very smart. Yeah.
Yeah. And then what I also did, because I had so many fans out in California saying, "When are you coming out? When are you coming out to the West Coast?" And I'm like, you know how expensive it is to take a road show out to the West Coast?
Yeah.
It's impossible. I mean, before we even hit the stage, it's like $3,000 just for airfare and hotel. So that's when I put together the LA Italian Chicks. And I will just fly out to headline shows. So all this came to happen, and then boom, we have this virus that changed the world.
It did, but it doesn't stop you, because that look at what we have. Could you ever have imagined when you started the entertainment industry that how people got their shows out there? You hit the streets, you put the flyers in the fans' hands. Hopefully, you put them on. You had to go into stores and ask them to, can I put this on your show? Yeah, you had to pray that a DJ played your song or whatever it was, or you just so happened to walk by a comedy club and they were like, "Hey, kid, like we need," But now, I mean, the way technology is and the way we connect it to everyone, it's still the same. It's just very different, and it's a lot, and it's in abundance. I never even dreamed that I would be able to do the things that I'm able to do, even right down to making the flyer for my comedy show on Saturday. If you told me about that app, I was like, well, because I went to school for, to learn a lot of that stuff. And one of the classes was Photoshop. And I just clicked right in and I said, oh, okay, this is how this works, this layer and this is how I can apply this. And I was just done in 2 seconds. And I was like, wow, crazy.
Right. Right.
It's insane.
And years
And you,
ago, you had to find a graphic designer. You had to pay them all this money. You had to. I mean, it was like, oh my god. Even with my music, I mean, all of my CDs are now digital. So it's Apple Music, Spotify,
yeah.
Google Play, this, that. And interestingly enough, when I get my every month when I get my distribution list, all of my songs are trending really high in the UK.
Really?
Totally.
They must love you. Keep pushing it. We need to have, then you need to have the Italian chicks UK.
Well,
Are there
totally.
any Italians in the United
And
Kingdom? I don't
it's
know.
funny because on TikTok I do a lot. Basically on TikTok I do a lot of singing, and it's just a black and white filter. And the reason why I use a black and white filter with glasses is because typically I'm reading the lyrics, and I don't want people to see that I'm reading the lyrics.
Right, yeah.
So it's easy to use that filter because it just looks like a cool filter. Nobody knows that I'm really just reading the lyrics, right?
Right.
So when I do that on TikTok, all of a sudden I got all these people from the UK following me on there. And I'm like, oh, this is great. This is great.
You never know. We tend to, I feel like New Yorkers try to impress people from LA and LA try to impress people from New York. But you never know where you're gonna resonate from when you put yourself out there. You know, you just never know. I mean, you could have followers in Africa, you could have followers somewhere out there in the world that you never think of, and you're like, wow, this is the coolest person ever.
Totally.
And I love that because once you're able to expand your mind outside of Long Island, and you're able to just, did you grow up on Long Island? No, you could not.
No, I didn't. I was born and raised in Jersey.
The New Jersey. Oh, you're a Jersey girl.
Yeah, Fort Lee, right over the bridge. I'm the first town.
All right, so you're not into Jersey. You're not too
far.
No,
I'm. I was in the city every day. I was 6 minutes from Manhattan.
Oh God, see that's beautiful. I tried to touch an apartment in Fort Greene now. No, that's not happening.
No, I know it's bad. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not happening now. I mean, no way. That's definitely not happening by any means. So we already talked about your discipline. How do you practice? Do you just do your TikTok videos every day, or how do you actually practice your sets?
Before, because I haven't had a show. The last show we did was Christmas shows. It was 3 shows in Rochester, New York at this theater.
Okay.
And that was in December. So what I usually do before any show, I have my set, whatever I'm adding to it, whatever. I lay it on my coffee table. I put my timer on, and I do my set from top to bottom. And usually the plant becomes a person, or this I'm using, and you know why I do that? I do it, I stand up and I do it out loud, because when you have not been on stage, it's very important to hear your voice.
Yeah. And to be able to get those breaks to look at something and talk.
Right.
Right.
So right now I am in rehearsals for this show coming up on the 27th, June 27th, which is the virtual show. And so every day in my living room, I'm talking out loud. And then when I'm done, I take out my guitar, and then I do all the music parts. So it's a big process. It's a huge process. I do that every day. Yeah. And then I'm happy to announce that in September, date to be determined, but it's all squared away. I also wrote my one-woman play, which is called Agita. And Agita, if people don't know what agita is, in Italian, agita is that burny feeling you get in the back of your throat when you throw up a little bit in the back of your mouth. That's agita.
Yeah, I had weight loss surgery. I'm a pro at that. Don't worry, I know exactly what that is.
So this play it's about the life and times of growing up, first generation Italian, being the youngest of 4, with a crazy family. My father owned a taxi company. We had CB radios and cabs in the yard and blah, blah, blah. And then being exposed to infidelity as a child, and how that skewed my perception of love as an adult.
Really?
So it is a dramedy, and it goes through many facets of my life, from my mom's passing, my dad's passing, many discoveries, funny stuff, but many discoveries. So what I'm going to be doing is it's going to be a live shoot of the video.
Okay.
I mean, of the play. And then I'm going to be putting it out in pay-per-view in September, pay-per-view format. And then what we're going to be doing is just pitching the show to Netflix and Crackle and all over. because it's going to be a finished product with some live people in a specific location.
I'll be in person in a specific location. You can count on me. I'll be there. Yep, I love doing that. I miss now that's another thing that a lot of people have. You could actually buy your own station. You could buy your like Venio May, whatever it's called, Venio May. You could buy into that. There's all these apps that are coming out where you can have your own channel. I mean, I don't know where they're going to get content from, but I mean, people are really. I mean, you could really take control of your own entertainment. Of your own entertainment network.
Right.
I see it. I see it going on Netflix. I can see it happening.
Well, from your lips to God's ears, because that's where we want to go with it. That's where we want to go with it.
Sure. It's going. Netflix is definitely going to be looking for, Netflix is going to have some competition coming up with all these other different apps because they also have to compete with Hulu. But listen, once it's out there, it's out there. And if it's and they don't have what you just said, they don't have that on Netflix yet. They have the comedy specials, but they don't have that specific type.
Right,
so it's
exactly.
Different. It's different.
It's totally different. Yeah. And it has all facets from comedy and drama.
Right. They need to start. I would love for them to start putting plays and stuff like that. Like
oh my God, that'd be amazing. It'd be amazing.
Reenact of plays. You know what I mean? That's what I don't like that. Like you don't have to keep regurgitating all these different types, all the same old plays.
You know what I loved, and I think it was on HBO. I loved watching Billy Crystal's 700 Sundays.
Really?
Remember when he did his one-man play?
Yeah.
It was spectacular. It was spectacular, though. I mean, to watch it instead of being in the theater. Yeah. It was really. It still had the same power.
And same thing with John Leguizamo when he did Ghetto Clown.
Oh God, he's just brilliant. He's just so brilliant.
He's pretty good. I really like him. I love John Leguizamo. I'm happy to see him doing more like roles.
Yeah, me too. Because that's what he always wanted, and he just has so many bags of tricks. So I mean, God bless him that he does, and just keep spreading it out there, and then eventually you'll land where you're supposed to be.
Yeah, he's not a one-trick pony by any means.
Right.
All right, so let's get to a fun question. If there was a movie about your life, who would play you? If you don't say Meryl Streep, I'm gonna be pissed.
Meryl Streep, really?
Yeah.
Actually, I would like. It's gonna probably be off the cuff. I would like Laura Linney to play me.
Laura Linney, really?
Yeah.
Wasn't she in Twister?
No, you're thinking of Laura Linney is. Oh my God, she was in Love Actually. Remember, she had the brother who was disabled.
Yes.
And she met the guy. She's actually on Hulu right now, and it's amazing. You should watch it. It's called Mrs. America.
Oh, okay.
And who's the girl you just mentioned from?
Sarah Paulson.
Yeah, Sarah Paulson is in it. Kate Blanchett. Oh my God, the girl that was in Bridesmaid that hated the best friend. I don't remember her name.
Maya Angelou? Oh no.
You know the white chick.
Kristen Wiig.
No, not that one. She was the one that hated Kristen Wiig. Remember, she was the new girl with all the money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I know who you're talking about.
She plays Gloria Steinem and looks just like her. It's all about the ERA and Ms. Magazine and the women's movement. And Shirley Chisholm is played by the girl who portrayed Crazy Eyes in Orange Is the New Black.
I love her.
You got to check out the show. It's, when I tell you, amazing. And this, it was over. It's only like eight episodes, but they're gonna build it up again. But check it out. It's called Mrs. America on Hulu.
I will. I definitely will. Yeah. Did you actually watch Orange Is the New Black?
I did.
Did you watch the whole thing?
No, not from the very beginning. I mean, I think I watched the last 2 years or so, and I'm not a big series person. I'm a big movie person.
Okay.
But when I do get into a series, I'll give it a shot, and then it's got to hook me immediately, or I'm done.
Right. Yes, I hear you. I made that unfortunate mistake with Coven with American Horror Story, because I felt like the dialogue was too expository. Which annoys the crap out of a writer. Like when I'm sitting there and I'm like, Did you really need to say it like that? Like, I just also felt like Gabby Siboney, her character, like, come on, you could have really done so much more with that as opposed to just making it what you did. And a lot of it was disgusting. And I was just like, you really could have done so much more with Angela Bassett. You could have done so much more with Covet. They could have done a much better job.
I love Angela Bassett. Love
Me
Angela.
too. But I loved it. I absolutely that is probably one of my favorite things. If not because Stevie Nicks comes in there.
Yeah,
I love that. I was like, when Stevie Nicks was, I was like,
I know. I did the same thing. I was like this.
I love Stevie Nicks. Everyone's like, is Stevie Nicks really a witch? And I'm like,
Certainly is, boy. She certainly is. Yeah. Totally.
Yes, she is. Great one too. Have you ever seen anyone like during like because you've done a lot of stage time? Have you ever seen anybody completely and totally bomb on stage?
Yeah, I have. And it's that I think is a horrible feeling. I mean, not only God forbid to have, I mean, knock on wood, it's never happened to me. However, I will share with you one thing. We did a show, it was a fundraiser, and it was for St. Lucy's. And you know, the priests were going to be in the audience. And this happens. Now, priests love when you curse. They don't have a problem with it. But if you get up on stage, the first person who gets on stage, if they get spooked, the audience will eat you up and you're done. Nothing happens then. And we were at this show one night and I was like, oh my God. Like, number one got up and I was like, oh my, crashed and burned. Number two, who was like, you know, my ace in the hole, right? I'm like, oh no, she's the same thing, flat. Number three, I'm like, oh crap. So now I got up there and the first, see, this is what you have to do. You have to call attention to what's happening. And this is what I noticed. I stood up on stage. I go, wait a minute, before we go anywhere over here, just notice something. I feel like I'm at a fucking tennis match, okay? Because listen, priest, what's your name? Father what? Okay, listen, Father, every time I curse, everybody behind you, because the priests are always in the front, everybody in the audience goes like this to see if they're laughing. What are they laughing? Is the priest laughing? And I said, so you know what? I want you to stand up and tell them you don't have a fucking problem with this now. And guess what? He did. And do you know that show at the end, we got a fucking standing ovation?
I could imagine. That was great. Oh my God.
But you gotta point out the obvious. I'm like, it felt like I was at a tennis match. I was watching the whole audience do this.
Yeah.
Is he laughing? What should we do? I mean, that's ridiculous.
I feel like that happens when there's like one like minority in the room and everybody else is white, and then like the comic gets up there and like says like something like a racist joke. Doesn't matter who it is, but says like a racist joke, and everyone's just kind of like, and then that one person's like, yes, you may laugh now. It's funny. You may laugh. Right. Like you can laugh now. And it's like, you know, I mean, I feel like a lot of people are afraid to. I saw Sharon Simon do it. Sharon Simon's a beautiful, great comic. She's unbelievable. She did it when we did one of the live Zoom shows, and she said, "I'm just gonna work real hard to make my friend actually Mo." She said, "I'm gonna make her laugh." Like, and she pointed out because she was just sitting there the whole time, like, and she's like, she doesn't laugh the whole time, but she's actually, you know, Mo is very new to comedy. So she's, you know, just getting into being a stand-up comic, but then, you know, I put them on my all-female show.
Right.
And I'm just going to keep, I love doing all-female shows. You like working, you know, with women also. Do you ever have any men on your show or no?
Never. I have a million guys message me on Facebook asking me if they could open. And I've always said, oh, that's so sweet. Have you ever seen our show? No. Oh, well, it's a 2-hour comedy and variety show, casino style, big. So if I had to hire you, that means I would need an intermission. And then I'd have to change the name of the show to Italian Chicks and a Dick. It just doesn't work.
No, it doesn't work. Yeah. And I feel like,
and you know what? I got to be honest with you. I don't want to bash male comics.
No, we're not.
I don't like the fact that comedy, that's why you won't see me in a comedy club, because comedy clubs have this formula, and the formula is boy, girl, boy. It's like a bad fucking CYO dance. Okay. Now, I mean, that, you know, God forbid they should put all women on featured at that night at the club. No, oh, the house will burn down.
You know
Oh,
that shit ain't happening. You know that's not
right.
happening.
And
You
then
know
what
that's
burns
not happening.
my ass
Only
is that,
certain women.
right, what burns my ass is that they'll put on the flyer, female comic. I think when I walk on stage, you're going to know that I have fucking tits. I just think
Right.
so. Why
She's
you have
gorgeous. She's beautiful. Welcome to the stage. I can't stand that.
terrible, terrible, terrible. So
I hate
you know,
that.
we have done a lot of work in this industry with that, but not enough, and it still hasn't cracked that ceiling yet. It still hasn't.
Right. Because that's the one thing that men do to get women. They try to make us laugh, and it's kind of like, well, I can make you laugh, you know, because not all men are funny, just like not all
Right.
women are funny. But you know,
Right.
I mean, a woman can be funny. I've seen some very hilarious women out there, you know, and
Right.
I personally don't like it when they turn around and say, oh, you know, she's gorgeous, she's beautiful. Like, are you serious? Like, is that all you notice? But then when they talk about the man, it's like, oh yeah, he's performed at this show and he's my good friend and he's and it's like, listen,
He's
find
my
another way to
bro.
host.
He's my bro. My
Yeah,
dude.
he's my bro. Yeah, no,
Right.
stop it. Find another way to host. I do not like doing that. I would much rather take a swing at them, crack a joke at them, because most of the comics that I put on my shows I know personally. So I'd rather take a crack at them and like make like a little joke, or maybe just do like a little small banter back and forth with each other, and then
Right.
have you go on stage. I do not like that typical introduction of she's gorgeous, she's beautiful.
Oh, it's bullshit. Yeah. I mean, I remember being interviewed one time on the phone. This guy was writing an article, and he said to me, it was the most bizarre question I was ever asked my entire life. He said to me, would you rather be pretty or funny? And I said, I'd rather be pretty funny.
Yeah.
Like, pretty funny. She's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Why would you ask that?
Why would you ask that? Well, I've seen a lot of beautiful women come into comedy, and a lot of them, you know, get jumped on right away by the bullshit. And it's like, listen, she's not here to sleep with you. She's here to do comedy. So, you know, I mean, but then again, depending on the woman, because there's plenty of women out there who definitely will sleep with everybody just to, you know,
just to get a spot.
Just to get a spot. And I'm like, why would you do that? Like, why would you do that? Like, you have my email address. Like, I'm gonna put you on. That's why I do my own shows, because I wouldn't do that.
The Me Too movement is not alive in the comedy world.
No.
Because half of these chicks are doing this because they want something. Okay.
Or they just because they don't. I mean, I think that they just feel like, okay, I'm gonna hook up, and you know, with that. I never really understood that. I think that they think that that's like expected of them, like this is what we need to do, or maybe just because, you know, and you can, and what I don't like is when you see a female comic used over and over and over again in all the shows, it's not necessarily funny, it's because she's been doing whatever.
Right, you know she's doing this.
Right, exactly. And sometimes, you know, and I would like to think that it's because she's funny. But then you hear the boys talking behind the back, because guys love to talk in front of fat chicks, because they think, oh, fat chicks, you know, they're too busy eating, they're not listening to us, and I listen to everything you say, and I got it. So, you know, I hear all of that mess and banter that goes on. And
right. It's that. I mean, I hope that it changes, because, you know, I just would like not to see, oh, female comics, a girl comic. I mean, stop it. You don't see that on a guy's flyer, male comic.
No,
really?
No, you know, I do female comedy shows, because that's what me and my partner that I had, my partner in comedy, Chris, we said we should do an all women's show. And I said, okay. And it took off from there. And the first show I ever did was called Vagisilly. And I knew that it was gonna get some shit, and then I just keep it up with Vagispooky. Like I'll have like different. I love to do theme shows. Like I do the fat version with the fat comics. I just like to do themes. You know, like I had I'm really disappointed because the Real Comedy Wives of Long Island unfortunately was canceled, and I really wanted to go forward with that show, but I just can't do it. Like if a show gets canceled, I mean, I really wanted the Long Island, the Real Comedy Wives of Long Island to be a big show, and thanks to COVID-19, it was canceled, and it just doesn't, it wouldn't feel right to go forward doing that show again because I'd have to recast everybody,
Everything. Right.
except for, I mean, I had Roseanne Sorrentino on the show, I had Cara Amore on the show, and everybody else just kind of like fell to the wayside. So I had Allie Walker, she was supposed to be on that show. So I had some good group of girls, but it just, and I also had a show that I was going to do June 20th, I believe. It was going to be my gay pride show. I have a friend, Wendy. She was a part of like this gay youth group, not like a youth group, but like they go out, they do things together. So I said, hey, why don't you invite them out to come? So I wanted to have, because I had the winner of my comedy contest who's transgendered. I wanted to have her come and do the feature spot and just go crazy and just celebrate Gay Pride Month. Why not?
Right.
So I will redo that show again in the future. So.
Yeah. Hey, look, we had tons of stuff on the books up until November, and we were supposed to be in North Carolina in May at this theater, the Ashland Theater out there. So look, it is what it is, and we're going to get through this, and eventually things will even out. And I just have a feeling like 2021 is going to be the year for theaters. So I think we just have
hope so.
I think we have to hold on. I think we have to hold on. That's all.
I'm going to ask you the $1 million question before we say goodnight.
Okay.
$1 million question. What comic would you, famous or non-famous, would you take to bed?
Sarah Silverman.
Really? You just bang, Sarah Silverman. Okay.
I love Sarah Silverman.
Yeah?
I do.
Okay. I like her too. She's all right. I haven't seen her in a while. But
I just like her whole look. I like that whole look.
Yeah.
She's a pretty girl too. She's funny, I think.
Yeah. I think she's funny too. I mean, without there wouldn't be as much attention on female comedy if it wasn't for Sarah Silverman. Let's just keep it real.
Right, you're absolutely right. And you know what? Sarah is also she gets a little silly, but she's a smart comic.
Yeah.
And I love smart comedy.
I should watch more of her. So I was watching Wanda Sykes, and I was like, I can't keep up.
She has a special on Netflix you should check out. It was very. I've actually rewatched it. That's how funny I thought it was. So.
I watched it, and I'm sitting there and I'm watching the stuff, and she starts getting into race, and I'm just like, like, come on, girl, like, come on, you can do better than that. I mean, it's not like she's not right, but I mean, I was just kind of like, all right.
No, she could be really off the wall gross at times, and you're like, oh no, she did not. But yes,
I like Wanda Sykes. I mean, really need. I love Fortune Feimeister. If you didn't see her special on Netflix, you should check it out. She used to be on the show with Chelsea lately. Fortune Feimeister. She's
yeah. I did.
Yes,
yep.
Fortune. Oh my God, she's one of my favorites. She's on my Instagram, and I'm gonna start harassing her. But I'd love her. I love Chelsea. I love Chelsea.
Yeah, I do too.
She's one of my favorites. I love her too.
I agree.
Yep. And Jenny McCarthy. People don't consider Jenny McCarthy to be a comic, but I do. She is.
No, I like her cousin better.
Yes. Okay.
Melissa.
But Jenny McCarthy, for me in the 90s, was kind of like the first female comic that I ever really saw.
Oh, okay.
Because she was on that show Singled Out, and she was very funny.
Right.
I mean, I always forget the name of that movie that she did. She wrote some movie that was just absolutely hysterical. I forget the name of it.
Yeah, I can't remember either. I know what you're talking about.
Oh, A Bloody Love or something like that, or I don't know what it was. Something Love. I forget the name of it. If anyone out there can think of anyone watching, watch that. Oh my God. Drunk Love. It was something crazy, but it was probably one of the funniest movies that I've ever seen. And it was so 90s. I mean, you could just see the hair and the makeup and the clothes, and it was just,
right.
It's absolutely crazy. So I don't know. I loved it. But so it has been absolutely excellent talking to you. I learned a lot about you tonight.
Thank you,
And I'm
sweetie.
really excited for June 27th because I'm definitely going to be watching because Teresa talks about, the Italian chicks all the time. And I remember she called me because Teresa, I don't know if you know this, but Teresa's like my fairy comedy
Yeah,
mother.
yeah.
If it wasn't for Teresa, I would not be where I am today because
Mhm.
Teresa was like, you get on that stage, you do what you do, get up there. And Teresa was really by my side through a lot of stuff. So she's a good person. And,
She is, yeah.
I can't wait to see because I know she's always very excited to do this stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I look. We're bouncing off the walls, and I just think it's going to be a great show. So,
Yeah.
I hope everybody, just logs into that. It's on my Facebook page. It's June 27th,
I'm gonna
9
be
p.m.
sharing it.
Eastern Standard Time. Whatever state you're in, do the friggin' math, and you'll
Right.
still be there. Dress up nice because we're going to see you. Trust me, we'll look at you, make fun of what you're wearing. So, but it's great. And thank you so much, Kristen. I appreciate the time spent with you.
Welcome. You're very welcome. And I'm really looking forward to the show. I can't wait to see it, and see how it goes. And I know it's going to be excellent. So
Thank you, sweetheart.
hang out there for a second. Everybody else, good night. I will see you on Thursday. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much, Maryann, for coming on the show. I will be posting about the Italian chicks in case you missed it. I will see you on Thursday with our next comic on In Bed with Comics. Good night, everybody. Have a great night.